Jai Shri Krishna to all divine souls. Welcome to Path to Anandam Gita series. Freedom from pains and miseries to happy, healthy and peaceful life. Based on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, my questions and God's answers, and 108 mantras to awaken your soul. Pranam to Guruji, Hariharji Maharaj, for his blessings, guidance, and motivating us to be here on Sunday morning. And my special pranam to Guruji for guiding to start Path to Anandam, writing all these books, and blessing for making them #1 bestsellers on Amazon. I'm Satya Kalra, your host. And today's subject is Bliss of Meditation through Bhagavad Gita. It's a series 43. We have started our series in January 2022. And we have come here very far. And I'm sure this journey of spirituality and now journey beyond meditation. What is meditation? How do we do meditation? Benefits, practices, and our sankalpa. I meditate. And then we will practice of meditation with and have any question and answers. So we will discuss that as well. So let's start with our prayers. Like Arjuna did. And we are the Arjuna of today, facing daily challenges, confused, and praying to Lord Krishna for his guidance. Karpanye dosho pahte swabhava paschami tvam dharma samud cheta jachse syani nishchitam bruhitan me Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanyam Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanyam. My heart is overpowered by the weakness of pity. I have lost all my composure and my mind is confused about my duty, dharma. What should I do? What should I not do? I'm requesting you to tell me what is definitely good for me. I'm your disciple. I surrender to you. Please instruct me. These prayers are not just only for Sunday, but anytime we have difficulty, confused, just pray to Lord Krishna with this verse, if you remember. If not, just simply ask him, pray to him for his guidance, that please guide me, what to do, what not to do. I surrender to you. Because this confusion state is nothing but a vishad. This is where Arjuna was confused. He's just sat on the back of the chariot. And Lord Krishna kept guiding him and he kept saying, Na jotasyati gopindam. I cannot perform my duty. And then Lord Krishna pour his blessings on him in the form of Bhagavad Gita, which I call it Vishad to Prasad. And then Arjuna with this Prasad said, Karishye Vachanam Tav, I will do as you advise. So let's all go with this beautiful journey of removing our confusion by removing our doubts, our barriers, which blocks our mind, our intellect, and disconnects us from the soul, from the supreme power. So let's all uplift ourselves through self-purification and self-transformation, and finally realize, who am I? I am Satchit Ananda. So Lord Krishna tried to convince Arjuna to do his duty through Karma Yoga, because that's the only language he could understand as a Kshatriya. But Arjuna still wanted to escape. And he said he wants to go to Himalayas just to do meditation. And Lord Krishna says, no, you have to do karma first. With gyan, with wisdom, for the benefit of all, with love and compassion. And how you will do it? You have many other ways, as we discussed here in the 7 steps. Controlling senses, etc. But he tells him that bring your mind into proper state. You have to focus on yourself, which is called Dhyana Yoga. You have to self-discipline, which is a chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita. But prior to chapter 6, Lord Krishna gives the summary to Lord Arjuna about what he's talking about, how he can get out of this fear of losing his family members. And he's upset, so how he can get out of this anger, fear, and then desire of safe, not fighting because of his attachment. So Lord Krishna guides him and just summarize it. Prashant Kratva Bahir Bayam Chakshucha Antre Dhruvo Pranapan Samayukta Nasabe Antarcharno Jitendriya Mano Buddhi Muni Moksha Parayana Vigat Ichha Bhai Krodha Sada Yukta Evsa. This is such a good verse. Any time we want to pull ourselves within, then it says Bhair Bayam. Come, go from outside to inside. How you will do it? Just focus on pranas. Focus on your breath through your nostril. Then your indriyas, your smell, the prakritik of your smell, the seeing, the touching, all indriyas will come under control. And this is not just a concept, because the munis all the time, the sages all the time, they do it. So be one of them. And by doing it, you will come out of fear, out of worldly desires, and out of anger, because with the breath, you will be always united with the supreme power, and the supreme power will lead you to. So breath is the connection between this physical body and Paramatma. So always focus on breath. And then further, Lord Krishna explains him. What is he talking about? Dhyana Yoga. What does Dhyana Yoga means? Meditation. Contemplation to meditation. So, what does meditation means? Meditation means when you station, focus of the mind it is actually the path from getting out of pains and miseries to ultimate freedom, which is called moksha, filled with love, peace, Anandam. So, how to do meditation? Lord Krishna explains this so well. And actually, the meditation which you have been doing with me is based on all this, his guidance. Where he explains that we have to first work with our mind, make our mind as a friend. But how to do it? We talked about it last week. But here he further goes and explains that it's not something that in the beginning you start doing, living in the awareness, because meditation is actually when you live in awareness. You don't have to sit, but initially you have to practice it to come to that advanced stage. So he's giving these prerequisites, he's giving these methods. Just, I would call it a 101 course of meditation, or the basics of meditation, which is very important. It says we have to pay attention to where we sit and how we sit. So he says, find a clean, shucho deshe, clean spot, and sit on a firm seat, which is neither too high nor too low. And why clean? And it's talking about not just the cleansingness of the place, but he's basically saying the physical cleansingness. So we have to clean our body as well. We must go to bathroom, toilet first, cleanse our digestive system, our colons, empty our colons, etc. And then we should find a clean space. And the reason it is because if we have those blockage in our colon or get the gases, then it affects our neurosystem. All of our neuroreceptor, they attract this bad smells and bad feelings, and it disturbs the meditation, because whatever it goes deeper into that level. So we have to really make sure we clean our physical body as well as the place where we sit. It is a clean, it's a smell-free, and also it is a quiet place. Because any disturbance comes, it gives us, like, we call it in a jerk, body ko jerk ko lag jata hai. Body, all of a sudden it moves and it affects a detrimental effect on our neurosystem. So that's why it should not be too high, too low. And then sitting on a grass or something which does not, eliminate the energy out of our system or our surroundings, is a non-conductive. Basically, it's a non-conductive space. Lord Krishna is talking about grass is a non-conductive between our body and earth. So he says the energy from the body should not be moving or being discharged and going to the earth, but it should be all condensed in the body. He also says deer skin. The question comes, why deer skin? Because it's an animal skin. But it's the same reason. This used to be when people, saints or rishis used to live in jungles. And there are a lot of, sometimes snakes, sometimes some worms, something comes out of the ground and it could touch their body or bite them. So then that the deer skin is the one protector for them. So whenever we sit, in other words, we should have our own asana. You might have seen it. Swamiji always carry their own asanas, and they put their asanas before they sit for any satsang. So having because that's asana has the energy of yours. And as soon as you sit on it, it will immediately help you because it's a full of energy. So again, comfortable positions. We talk about that, concentrating the mind on the single point, which we talk about also here, right in the 6th chakra, and controlling the thoughts and activity of the senses, then automatically they get controlled by doing this. But he says all this should be done in the motive of keeping the self-purification, means whatever sanskaras, whatever thoughts, negative thoughts, etc. we have in our subconscious mind, then it eliminates those. But sitting still, steady and straight is a very, very important. And keeping our spine, chest, neck, and head all straightened, and fixing the eyes on mind steady on the tip or front of the nose. Why tip or front of the nose? With looking not in any direction. Basically, sometimes we have a tendency to look in different directions. Something noise comes, something. And Lord Krishna says, just put your attention in one spot. When it says nose, does not mean that you really look it on the nose, but actually you put your attention in not very high, because if you get on it very high, then it gets that stress on the mind. So you put it in the same direction, little bit below than 6th chakra. And that's what he means here. And we should also know, why are we doing all this? Of course, we are doing for self-purification, but self-purification, why? Because we want to transform ourselves. We want to, as I said, adat buri sudhar lo. We want to change our thinking process, our judgmental process, our seeing process, our hearing habits, etc. Why? Because they prevent us to reach to our ultimate goal of life. So he says, serene and peaceful, fearless and firm in the practice of celibacy. Celibacy is not only meant to, because it is been seen that just you abstain from the sex, etc. But it is basically, celibacy means any negativity in the body which can take your energy in a lower part of the body. So under full control, one should meditate on me, rather than, it's a meditation. It's not a contemplation. We contemplate on many things. We could contemplate nowadays. Meditation could be so many different types, but Lord Krishna says, contemplation, you can contemplate to focus your mind. However, meditation means you meditate on me only. So by always concentrating on me, he says, then yogi disciplines and settles the minds and attains the eternal supreme peace and merges with me. Ultimately, he realizes nirvana. And he's talking about by practicing, it's not just for yogis, anybody could become a yogi. We all can become a yogi if we practice all this. So meditation, here is how to meditate. It's a step-by-step process. And the reason I bring it here, the 8 limbs of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, is because in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna speaks about, but in Patanjali's yoga, he's such a systematically arranged all those steps. Basically, these are 8 steps. Meditation is the 7th step, but which is the chapter 6. But prior to that, how to live with ourselves, how to live with others, means how should we perform the duty for our body, our mind, and how should we perform the duty of follow our dharma in the for the society, for family members. This is all talking about karma yoga. So that is from chapter 1 to chapter 5 is all about karma yoga. And Arjuna's confusion. So how to eliminate that, which is Patanjali ji has done such a good job explaining in these 2, Yama and Niyama. And then asanas, body postures, do the action. And then pranayam, which Lord Krishna also explained in chapter 5, as I explained in verse 27 and 28. So how to do the breathing exercises, prana and apana, and other exercises, and to control our breath. And then sense control, all the chapter 3 to 5, every single subject we talked about, it has control your senses. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan manogatan atmanev atmana tushta sthit pragasta uchit. Once we control our senses, our desires will be controlled, and it's vice versa. And then once we do that, then we are ready. We can focus. Otherwise, worldly desires will pull us, our mind, in all different directions. But once we have control of all these through breath, then we can sit and concentrate, dhyan. But ultimately, bringing the inner awareness through the breath, then we can meditate on God, on divine. That's what the dhyan yoga is, chapter 6 is. And then we go to samadhi. So it's all systematic process like asanas, pranayam. Then it comes to meditation. So yoga, meditation is not just like an instant process, but it is a lot of practice. So that's why Shri Krishna Patabi Joy says that yoga is a 99%, meditation is 99% practice and 1% theory. But it is very, very important to understand that theory as well. And then we can have a healthy body. These are the benefits we get. Once we practice all this, it's in chapter verse 23, it says, with firmness, steadfastness, without any doubts, then we can attend our true yoga. Means our body, our mind, we are stress-free, then we are experiencing eternal happiness. And then we are ready to experience our true nature, who I am. However, Lord Krishna also gives us a big warning here. And he says, this is the must prerequisite. Yukta ahar viharasya, yukta chetasya karmasu, yukta swapna bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. One who is disciplined in moderating and balancing his eating, ahar, vihar, recreation, karmasu, his working, swapna bodhasya, his sleeping, his walking, then he can become the destroyer of all of his pains and miseries through meditation. Then he can experience it. But if the life is imbalanced, then one cannot experience the yoga, because whether it's a physical problems come or the emotional problems comes and the tiredness comes, whatever it is, but balanced lifestyle is mandatory for meditation and yoga. And what are the benefits? Why should I practice all this? So Lord Krishna again assures us that by practicing meditation, and he gives an analogy. He says that when mind is completely restrained from worldly thoughts, becomes steady and peaceful. How steady and peaceful? Like a lamp. When lamp is in the wind, wind comes, the lamp, jyoti goes down. Sometimes it totally turns off and it flickers. But once we practice the meditation, then mind does not tremble with worldly desires. And one certainly develops the ability to see the self by the pure mind, and rejoice. Pure mind, this is where the self-purification, all that garbage gets dissolved. All the toxins in the body gets dissolved. This is what it means by pure mind, pure body. And rejoice in the self. One's mind is pure, thoughts are pure, indriyas get pure, then one becomes satisfied in self alone. Then worldly desires, worldly issues do not bother that person because it's already akelepan mein. One start living within oneself. So we said we are always paying attention to the external world. Prashant kratva bhair bayam. We are always looking for outside. But once we have that experience, we are never alone. We are never lonely. Because loneliness has turned into alone. Alone means we are always joined, focused on God, union with God. This is called the true yoga. So self-discipline mind can only do the meditation. Otherwise it cannot. Then one can self-realize who I am. Because once the mind is calm, then what happens? You can get all the messages that I am supreme power. And I can give you an analogy here. See, when we drive, and there is if traffic is going slow, because there is a lot of traffic, our speed is very slow. We cannot reach, it takes longer to reach. But if there is one lane is blocked, one accident, lane is blocked, or one car has some problems, the whole lane gets blocked. Similarly, if some negative thoughts come, whether through by judgmenting others, whether by hearing the gossip from others, by speaking some words or thinking, or some thinking about some negative thoughts comes, then our mind gets blocked. So the more we eliminate, we change the lane, we go to the faster lane, the faster we reach. Similarly, the faster we remove this mess in the mind, all these negative old sanskaras, old thoughts, negative thoughts, then, excuse me, then meditation becomes very easy, because we can easily focus on the center of the mind or whatever, because nothing is there. So we can immediately reach there to our destination. So anytime our mind is blocked or getting negativity, means there is too much traffic in our mind. So we have to start learning the deleting. Similarly, if there is too much, our disk is filled with too much information on our laptop, our computers, then we have to start deleting it, cleansing it. Similarly, the mind has the same function. We can start deleting our old sanskaras. And with meditation, it happens. It balances the energy of our sushma body, our casual body, our casual, all these three bodies. The energy is balanced. The external body, which we are having right now, then our inner body, the sushma body, and then the supreme body, supreme power, the Paramatma. All these connections get together, and then we get to the samadhi. But it burns all the past sanskaras, because it's just like there is a fire, and when there is a fire, the jyoti, this darkness disappears automatically. Similarly, the past sanskaras, maybe we have to face a small issues, but not to that extent where we needed to, because of our old karmas. In other words, it burns cause and effects. It minimizes the negativity. It means it starts healing our body too. It empties our subconscious mind from negativity. And believe it or not, it regenerates the mutant genes. Many times we say this disease is because our heredity has it, our generation to generation, our family has it, but it regenerates our genes and DNA as well. So it makes us more healthier. And of course, it changes our old habits. So make you ultimately the master of your mind and your life. And freedom from miseries to mokshas. So that's where it says, once we start meditating, eventually, little by little, and actually the research shows this. I just put the UCLA publications information from here, but you can log on to Google it. So many Ivy universities of so many thousand, more than 100,000, almost I would say millions of publications, how meditation affects on the brain. So it says the brain of meditator to non-meditator, they found that meditators' brains were almost a decade younger by the time people reached their 50s, because they did a lot of study on different ages groups. In other words, it makes, not only that, it makes our mind younger. You see the people who do the meditation, they look younger, they have less wrinkles on their face, they have behavior, they're more calmer, more peaceful. So how to practice it? Again, Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga. And start with your day with mantras, do some yoga exercises, pranayam, meditation, and then take a 1 point a day and practice with that point which comes in you, between you and your meditation and your concentration. And eventually, by purifying, we get self-transformed. As Swami Chidananji says, meditation is the best medication for all the agitations. So whether it's our habits, whether our physical problems, or our connection with the supreme power, whatever it is, it helps for us to go to higher self, from lower self to higher self, and experience. But all these practices are very important, like a daily planner. I don't know, I can tell you this daily planner is such a powerful tool. And then do your best and just let go. We have only control on our action, which we can do it. But as Lord Krishna says, you have no control on the results. Karmanya vadika raste ma phaleshu kadachan, ma karma phal hetu bhulmate sango astu karmi. Do your karma and just surrender to him. Sarva dharman paritarjyam, mamekam sharanam braj, aham tvam sarpapebhyo, mokshashyami ma shuche. I will take care of you. Don't worry about it. So just let go. We should focus on our homework. Be aware and ask questions. So dhyaya abhyasam. Practice. And the question comes, do I practice? And as I said, the Patanjali's Yoga Sutra is a very systematic practice. It's all, I put it here, yama, niyama, asanas, pratyahara, pranayam, pratyahara, and then all comes to oneness. So continue to practice and continue to reach to the gunatit, beyond all of our limitations, and experience who we are. So our sankalpa, very simple today. I meditate. And through meditation, I reach happiness, have healthy, happy, and peaceful life. And ultimately, I experience Satchit Anand. So a small poem for meditation, it comes from my book, My Question and God's Answer. That meditation is the way to discipline the mind, reprogram and calm the mind. It is a pathway to get rid of the old habits and eliminate anger, greed, desire, calm, growth, low, moh, ankar, jealousy. I call 5 + 2 enemies. And this is the way to self-purification. And of course, physically, it lowers the blood pressure. It helps us to go within, calm us down, bring us to equanimity, and experience ultimate union with God, where I call it love, peace, Anandam. And it connects us, takes us to Param Dham. So meditation is the surest way to liberation. Here I put this particular image here. You know, where you can see the person's head is kind of uplifted here. You can see it up there. Why? Because during the meditation, the energy flows upward and the head automatically goes up. And this is the advanced stage. In the beginning, we have to align it, but later on, it moves up. So let me just share this with you, a small, which I have shared it before, but this is a small video before we sit for the practice. So then you can relate to it, that why we do the things in meditation, what we are, which I give the guidance during the meditation. So just here you see how the person is sitting straight. Look at that, his hands, his pose in the lap, which I recommend very highly as well, because it has less stress. See, look at this thumb. One thumb is up underneath the another thumb, energy is flowing. Here you can see by sitting this pose, in this pose, see how the eyes are calmly closed, very gently. And now look at the why, by sitting this, the energy around the body is all condensed around you. It's all confined. The aura of your is all confined to your body. And see, while sitting, what happens? All the worldly thoughts come. We all experience that. But with breath, with deep, that's why we say deep, take a deep breath. So now with deep breath, what's happening? Just continue to watch.
वाले को बना हम फोटो बना रहे हैं तो अपना घंटा.
See, the thoughts keep continuing. Continue this breath. Once you are master of this technique, you will notice that breath now becomes calmer and shorter and shorter. And see how short it becomes? And now you see this light. When I talk about that light, that's the light I refer to. And then you are totally connected. That's how the energy, your connection with the supreme power comes through this energy, and you get a sensation on the top of your head, which I talk about quite a bit during our practices. And totally connected. full connection. And see how it is going down throughout the whole body. So thank you very much for attending the bliss of meditation. Happy, healthy, and peaceful life. Freedom from pains and miseries. And this is the technique, which is the advanced technique after Karma Yoga, but Karma Yoga is the starting point. After Karma Yoga, when we do the Karma Yoga, so meditation is not something that we substitute our Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is very, very important. As Dinkarji said very beautifully, काम छोड़ ध्यान में लगेगा तो काल तुझे आके डसेगा. In other words, if we think that meditation is the only way, Lord Krishna explains this very clearly. First you do Karma Yoga, have a control of your senses, on your emotions, on your mind, calm down your mind, purify your mind. Then you can do the meditation. But he does not recommend to substitute our karma with meditation. That's why he tells Arjuna over and over that must do your dharma, perform your duty, but your mind has to be calm, balanced. So this is the technique for balancing our mind, not substituting our daily activities and letting our responsibilities go. So thank you very much for attending.